Good afternoon, North America. Good evening, Great Britain and Switzerland. I always like to say it that way, Switzerland. Of course I am. Ultimate here, Tushar Singh. And this is kind of a little bit of an audio level test as well. At the same time, hope you're enjoying the streams that we've had today. We've had 2 back-to-back Universe Point. I hope I'm also not too loud. If I am, please let me know. Regardless, we've had 2 Universe Point games so far today. The first one, Colombia versus Italy. Italy won there in the open division. The second one was Canada versus USA in mixed. Canada started out with 2 breaks, went up a few more points, so it was like 4-2. The USA came back and then tied 16 and then had a few more breaks. Was 15, I want to say 15-13, and then Canada made it 15-14 and then broke to make it 15-15, then went 16-15, 16-16, and then we had a last point with like 3 or 4 opportunities for each team, and then the USA won that one. I hope I didn't spoil anything for you, but you can find that game, or I absolutely hope the recording for that went well, and he'll be able to post that later for you on YouTube once we have more bandwidth. Next week is going to be a massive set of games going up on YouTube, practically, hopefully, every single one from here. I've got so far hundreds of gigabytes of data, and the quality should be 720p. Not too sharp, not next-gen quality, but pretty good. Next-gen not streaming any games today. Today is their break day. And of course, you won't find mixed on their streams. And Great Britain holding that time around. I hope I have the spellings right as well. It's been a long day. Thank you to Rahil for getting food to me via volunteer. And also from the previous stream, thank you to Jimmy Lippert and Alex Davis. Oh, and my food just got spilled all over due to a gust of wind, but that's okay, because I had eaten quite a bit of it. Regardless, thank you to those guys for getting me the food. And thank you to Jimmy and T1000. Thank you to those guys. Brian, I spilled some food over here. It might be falling on you down there, so you might want to get under the tent or over to the front, please. Thank you. Sorry, the wind took it. Regardless, we pretty good time up here, and 1-1 now the score. So thanks to those guys for doing the stream. They both knew Jimmy from Sky, knew the American players, and a little bit of a misstep. An in-cut done, and then kind of staggered, and the huck went up, and it was a bit late. So very tough overall. For them to get the stream done, but both players, and Alex of course knows the Canadian players and did a far better job than I could have done. Great feedback for both of those guys as well. Thank you again for watching. It is about a 10 to 15 kilometer an hour wind from the southeast. If you know Southern Ontario, the wind should be coming from the west. So a little bit odd, but we've had a weather system go through the last few days. We had a big rainstorm a couple days ago, or day before yesterday, yeah. Great Britain with a disc, now working against Switzerland's zone. Swiss zone not looking like their cheese at this time. Very non-porous, I guess I would say. And I hope you can manage to survive the pun that was made, or good grab on the line. Good awareness. I think number 23 back there, Sam Bowen, the captain. It's good to see GB. Big high hammer. Oh, it just slips out of the hands. Good to see GB on this pitch. We had the opportunity, GB, to practice against some of the teams a little under a week ago. Local teams, Grand Trunk and Maverick. So thank you to GT and Maverick for coming out and doing that. Thank you for GB to be here as well and playing hard. Switzerland, different character for team than we saw earlier. Oh, and a good D there. Just two players battling it out. Looking to huck it. Up line. Oh, and a heads up D. And Huck goes up again. This one going to be out the back. Oh, and justice. So there's wind pushing it out that way now. And seems to be a common theme in European players and also South American, are taking their shirts and putting above their heads, hiding themselves for a second or two. I haven't seen that too much from the North American side. Going to be cleaning up a little bit up here as well. Next Gen will be back tomorrow with a full set of games. Once again, the Swiss zone going on. Motioning on this side, I'm open, I'm open. But good adjustment. Oh, and just slap down. Looking to move it quickly. And Switzerland make it 2-1 and continue their drive. Team Canada finished their warm down. It was a good game, I believe. It was good to see them. It'll be good to see them in the finals again as well. Taylor Martin nodding his head. One of TC Mixed coaches. Plenty of experience for him as well. In fact, all of the TC coaches quite experienced, and that's how you pick your coaches. Slowly, slowly. So that last win for Team USA leaves them as the only undefeated team, and that was a power play crossover as well, and really well played. Huge energy expenditure by both teams. Team Canada will need to go out and get that win in their continued power pool play games. Ending up in the same power pool, it'll be interesting to see whether they end up in the finals together or whether the semis will be the bigger match. Good support for both teams at this location. We were supposed to be bringing you and a drop by GB. We've seen that. We saw that from Colombia last night in the showcase game. Switzerland playing much better than they did previously. Oh, and a drop. Just as I say that, they proved me wrong, but that's a tough, bold throw to make. Good movement now. GB getting that disc back, putting a lot of rotation. You can see it when those backhands really charging it up, making it stable. Going to a man, open man in the middle, coming across, getting the mark on. Coming across as well, poach, and GB catch up to make it 2-2. YouTube next week. YouTube next week. Unfortunately, I have to convert it, but I can try, but I have no bandwidth. Right, that's the issue. Yeah, if you have an 8 gig card, I can convert it. It takes me about 3-4 hours. I could get it to you at like 10 p.m. at the earliest. Right? So, yeah, I can convert it overnight and get it to you tomorrow. No worries. Absolutely going to be giving Team Canada an advantage, in case you overheard that conversation. And I'm not going to hesitate to say so. Chibi with good movement up the field. Took really good advantage of movement against the zone. Switzerland was on the line. They got a little bit lucky to get that, and then unlucky with the throw. Good spirit so far in this game as well. Coach is quite calm. And now that I'm back on the air, I don't know, should I talk about Colombia versus Italy? You let me know if I should chat about that game.
Hey Dom, great job, yeah?
Those of you watching from Austria, we will have the women's game next. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Oh, and a good pressure there by Sam. And this is a really good cup. I like the motion with the one player with his back, because he can really adjust and see what's coming. Good flat mark, but there's got to be chat about this dump's coming in. Man switch now, looking for a bail. It's going to be a little bit deeper. That's okay. Maintaining possession. A little bit of a travel called. Don't really see the point of that. All he did was adjusted a foot, and he was in motion. Float over the top. Oh, if the defender had looked, he would have gotten it. Switzerland 3-2. The cowbells ring out on the sidelines. There's been a group of family and friends going with the team. And you can hear those bells across multiple fields. Really good to hear. Yeah, those fit into MacBook Pros, right? Those put into MacBooks. Yeah, it should be. You had an awesome game, man. Like, huge grabs. And your ladies are phenomenal. Like, really good. Except you. I'm kidding. See ya. Win the rest of the power pool. All right, see ya. So having a quick chat with Rumi Tejpav of Team Canada from the Vancouver area. I've mentioned it a little bit before, but the guy behind B Ultimate. If you've seen GT Grand Trunks clothing this year, it's from B. Good footwork there and positioning. And the Swiss zone, it's basically a wall cup, not a straight wall. And the hammers. Sam taking confidently. Oh, and the lefty tried for it, but the pacing off just a little bit. Switzerland with possession and chance to break again, but a long way down the field to go before that can happen. Oh, and the Swiss player a little bit angry with himself that he missed that one. It was a long run, a tough one to get to it on time, but it feels like he had the speed to get to it. I really feel the hammers here would open it up. Speak of that. Look upfield. Oh. Could have hugged, but lots of good pressure and a call. And this one goes to ground. I like that, goes to ground. Heard it first from Tom Stiles. Lockstock TV. Another lower throw, but well controlled and rising. On the cone. Pops it to Sam, and GB come back from their own goal line. So, why is there an open game here instead of that women's game, you might be asking? That's a very good question. Well, and that's, sorry, I'm just going to be answering email and text messages and everything like that at the same time. So why? So I just got a note from Jared. GB number 59 is Jocelyn Trotter. He's actually played for Swiss at U23 in Florence. But not only is he a trader, but he's a gentleman and a scholar. When he applied for the Swiss team in 2010, they replied saying, "We're not sending a women's team." Jocelyn had to explain that he's in fact a male, just with a girl's name. That's a note from Jay. Thank you. We love stories like this, and also thank you to the Obermeyers who've sent in a few notes about the team, including Mira, who I actually do know from Paganello. So it's one of those great European tournaments that you really definitely get to socialize with and meet a lot of different folks. And there's a turnover. It is going to be a turn. So at 3-3 here. I was talking about something but kind of lost track. So why isn't the women's game here? I was walking through the field this morning behind the French Open team, and it was really strange because field number 4 felt really wet. as in I was walking through and there were puddles of water on the field. And it had been flooded. It appears that the sprinkler system, the water irrigation system, malfunctioned and over-irrigated the field. As a result, for player safety, because it's almost unplayable. And the issue is that it wasn't draining. And GB break back 4-3. That's an important one. So for player safety, they started moving the games around and had to shut down field 4. And the option is either having them play on field 7, which isn't the greatest to play on, and about 20-minute walk and a bunch of other issues, or looking at some of the open fields. And given that it's power pool plays, there are many open fields available. So they shifted that game to a later time slot, and they had to move it back later rather than just shifting it here because results might necessarily not have been known. No, thank you. I'm all good though. Bye. Have fun, you two. Have a good date. Poutine? Okay. Just saying bye to Brian Big Bear Jones, writer for, an editor for Sky Magazine, and Jimmy Lippert. Jimmy was doing the commentary last time around. So I absolutely wish that I could have brought you the Japan-Canada women's game. I am sorry that I am unable to. Next Gen will be back tomorrow. I believe they're streaming the first game of the day and the second game of the day, and then I have 3 in a row. Let me just check that on the schedule. Coming up next, GB versus Austria in the women's division. Stream still appears to be up and running. So tomorrow, Next Gen doing the first game, and then we'll be doing the second game as well. They'll be starting off with US versus GB on the women's side. And we'll be doing GB versus Austria. The next game after that, I believe they'll be doing as well. Then it'll be Japan versus Venezuela on the mixed side. So Venezuelans, you've been waiting. Guess what? You're getting a game. At least that's what's scheduled at this time. I will confirm later. And then following that, so the last game of the day, I only have 2 games tomorrow, will be United States versus Japan on the mixed side. Wow, I've got a light day tomorrow. I've only been doing minimum of 3 games a day so far, so 2 is going to be downright comfortable. I'm just going to double check that schedule. That doesn't seem right. Yeah, there is actually, I'd probably end up doing a 3rd game. There is a missing game between those last 2, so there'll be a 3rd game streamed from us or possibly Next Gen. Regardless, lots of stream options. Tomorrow, very deep pull and a good zone, which will be able to break out just a little bit. And an injury. That's tough. Is that for me? Oh, the food you can leave downstairs, though. You're going to eat? Oh, you got your own as well. Good. Welcome. Is this yours? Oh, sweet. Ian joining me back, one of the Next Gen cameramen. Now, we're all really, not really good friends, but good friends on this, between the crews. I met the Next Gen folks the first time that they did the Sarasota streaming, which was, what, 2.5 years ago? Floater. Oh, a little bit of a push. There in the air. And he just needs to get out. That Swiss cutter needs to get out. But he created a little throwing zone. And Lane, just by blocking, using his body to block. Regardless, Next Gen folks and I met at Sarasota, where they streamed for the first time, and I was working for USA Ultimate at that time. Just for that event, just to act as a liaison, because I kind of know the streaming thing, at least with one camera angle. But Next Gen brought a whole nother level of awesome, and had fairly good conversations with Ian, Red, and Eli. Josh as well, those of you who are British know him. All right, it's popped over. Oh, and good D. Way to take advantage. So anyways, ended up meeting them, and have kept in touch from time to time when they do the tour since then. Ian, you went to Worlds last year, right? No, you didn't. Okay. But Red did. Yeah, yeah, that was last year. Oh yeah, so Ian was at Worlds last year as well in Japan. Big hug from Switzerland. Going deep, there's more help coming. Oh, but he doesn't need it. That's a little bit of an aggressive mark. He started out okay, but there's travel. Travel call all the way here. Oh, that's unfortunate. Thank you, Itron. So sorry, Zach, not doing that game. What's a good, James Maynard, good to hear from you. What's a good resource? Check out altiapps.com/WU23. That one defended well. Cheer goes up from the... Oh, fantastic. And I missed that just slightly, but it was a fingertip D. But cheer went up from the sideline. Thanks for refreshing, Katie. And sorry, doing a little bit of tech support at the same time. Oh, that is a fantastic D, getting up there. Oh, awkward. Going up high and defended at the other end. It's a little bit of a hug fest, but the thing I like about this is that it's the wind causing some issues, and they're having good movement at the same time. And it's good D that's creating those turns and good positioning. Oh, and this one hanging and floating, and just misread, unfortunately. Timeout called, and it is a good time to stop. Team USA starting to filter out after their win over TC. It was a good win for them. Messy last point, but a fun game. Ian is American. I think he enjoyed that game. At least the result gives 2 thumbs up. I enjoyed the game. Regardless of the loss, it was an excellent game. And I'm primarily a fan of Ultimate. Patriotism in that sense comes second. But once a good Ultimate is done, absolutely I will give TC the game first. Ian saying hi to Ryan. Or Eli, yes, he's going down. Leave your stuff up here or take it in the bag or something. Very brave by Ian there, going down the ladder with only one hand. Yeah. Refreshingly cold drink. Still 4-3 with GB. Chance to make it 5-3. Apologies, yeah, it's 4-3. Chance to make it 5-3. Interesting formation. 2 players deep. And then, so they're going to be showing a zone with actually a wallish kind of zone, 4-man cup, I guess you could say. My preference is actually not to play that mark so close. Give a little bit more space, take away the dump angles. Playing really close allows for the easier dump. Oh, and a misstep! Frantic, frantic, frantic. Okay. And taken on the front line, or just inside. And Switzerland convert and hold. 4-4. And are they taking a timeout? Perhaps. Nope. Not taken so far. And GB calling a timeout. And Switzerland only listed on this board as having 2. It should be 4, and it is 4-4. Thank you to the volunteers working overtime. They get here at 6:30. They leave at 2300 at the earliest. Good support from the Toronto area clubs. And Switzerland lined up, waiting. While GB has a little powwow to figure their game out. They need to be converting. Slowly, slowly, slowly. It is now getting hot. It's now getting hot with little wind. Slowly. Just slowly. For that. If you go quick, it breaks. And then you have no water. The former tournament director in me coming out, trying to maintain and save the water pumps that are here for others to use. Shade now becoming a valuable commodity. Oh, that reminds me, I'll have to go down at halftime to make sure that, yep, equipment's getting close to the sun. We'll have to go and adjust the tent. GB going to be receiving. Switzerland with the pole, wind steady. A zone, again, this one has been working. A slight adjustment, they're just going to go with the cup, and then they're going to try to put a little bit of a handler pressure on. No marks, so, and now there it goes. Take it high. He could have followed that up a little more if he'd kept running. He kicks his hat. Hat gets good distance, makes it to about the break mark. I guess he could be a keeper. Quick player switch. Find it interesting how much people express their frustrations outwardly. In such manners. And fouls called are actually, and then there's also an issue down the field. Swiss player helping the British player up. The disc will be going back. It's an interesting fake. Oh, and there's a big one. Sting, touch, but still caught. Not enough. Valiant effort there. Switzerland 5, GB 4. So getting broken. And that was unfortunate. He touched it on one end and kind of dropped it, and the other end on the D touched as well, but he's heading right back to the line. I like this formation where the teams come out and chat, but every team has their own methodology of what they do and plans, and it's tough, difficult game, but a close one. 5-4, Switzerland lead. And they're playing really well today. So one game for tomorrow, still not decided on schedule. It's based on an actual crossover. It's a lower pool game, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to bring it to you. This is about trying to get as many different people as we can and getting exciting games at the same time. It's not just exclusive coverage.
Come on, GB! Go boys!
some contact, and there's a call.
Hey, if you're not in the end zone, you can't score, right?
This should go over the top. Just send it over the top, but the wind gusting. Man. And there's a pick. You can see the collision towards the top of your screen. Oh, and a very good sequence, good clearance of space. And GB hold an important one, 5-5. They're still down one break. This is a good game. I'm liking it. It's got good character. Hopefully it's another close one, like the previous two. Just going to be checking on Twitter and a few other things right now. I hope wherever you are, you're having a good game as well. To those of you who've been looking at our under 23 schedule, so ltapps.com/W23. Oh, there's Bill Wong. And he's going to be coming up here. And he's going to be taking photos, and he was been doing parking lot duty, but watching our stream as a volunteer from the parking lot. Parking lot duty, the most boring one because you can't see any games. Zero. A lot of energy coming out. It's a good tight mark. But these arms are out very straight. These are very fair, good marks. The cleanest that I've seen from these players. And they are effective. And there's a switch to man. The call by GB to switch to man is yippee-ki-yay, which is amusing. I guess something that they would say in Die Hard. Good break. A floater, front of the end zone. And Switzerland maintain their one break advantage. Leo, I know you'd love as many games as possible. I would too. I wish I had a showcase field that I could shoot on all day, every game, and I didn't have to share it with Next Gen. I would totally do it. Close up of the Swiss kit coming right up. As you can see, he's wearing a very fashionable top, backwards hat. And the cross is on the side. Let's see, here's another gentleman, and he's rocking a nice headband. Shorts as well, a mirror. GB kit. I like the front of the GB kit especially. If we can, we're gonna get in. It's a comparison. And pull. A zone showing again from Switzerland. Slap, reset the count. Bill, it's pretty good if you sit down there, and then you get a good view, and then your feet are just hanging over the edge, and it's comfortable. Hammer goes over the top. It's an effective way. You need to make the zone run. Why? Because when you throw it back across the field or in any direction, you make them change. Oh, that's lovely. 6-6. Absolutely lovely play. A shout out to Flamin' Jared Cordner from Ireland from James Martin. I don't know if that's a real name or not. If it is, great. If not, if I've said something else, great. No worries. From here at the top of the tower. Yes, we do say out, about. An interesting variation of the OU, Leo pointing out. I grew up here in Canada, so have adopted the local dialects. However, I can change at a moment as needed. My T's are also pretty sharp. Man from, and bowled over, not intentionally, checking right away. Just basically an intersection of paths very tightly and closely. And they both appear to be okay. No harm, but a foul. But not an intentional one, we hope. Wanted to send it deep. There was very good coverage, but sends it again. We've seen this before. Oh, and there's a collision, but everyone appears to be okay, thankfully. Very close. Just having a drink. Enjoying the weather. 16:28. We're not yet at half, so the next game will be starting later than scheduled. Schedule is for 30 minutes from now. This game didn't start until recently. Calling from this side for the hammer. It's into the wind, so it'll be difficult. Good movement by the British here. Once again, calling cross field. Swiss overmatching. And just lays her down the line. But touched from inbounds by the orange cone. Folks in the beer garden having a good time. Scores 6-6. Switzerland. Chance to hold. And Huck goes up. It's floating. It's going to stay in bounds. And taken well. That was a very good put. 7-6 GB. Behind. Switzerland up 7-6. It's an interesting game. Good movement from both sides. As we get closer to the end of the game, the tension will grow, and we should start to see players who turn on and decide to put their team on their back. Alex Davis, T1000, wandering by. He was on last commentary. Great feedback from everyone for him, requesting him to come back full time and travel without pay with I Am Ultimate doing commentary. That's what the request has been. I don't think he'll accept it, but I'll pass on. Pardon me? Okay, but lots of people have given you really good feedback. Thank you. Coach of Team Canada Open, coach and captain of one of the coaches and captains of Furious. Large amount of organizational structure required to run top-level teams. Players, it helps when they are able to do quite a bit and are involved in local culture. As you're watching, you know, I know, Ultimate is a lifestyle. It really has to be a lifestyle. It's not a hobby. It's really what we work for in many ways. Some people work to buy a house. Good towing in. Others, we just work to go to the next tournament. A house is simply a place where you rest and heal. Oh, high release. Oh, an attempt there, but Switzerland now. Chance to break again. The trap on this sideline has been very good at taking away the pressure, and the Swiss seem to just form this impassable range. Oh, he had options. He needed to stick with his dump. Comes down with it in a mismatch. Oh, and follows up with a push pass. Not a fan of the push pass. It is not a stable, consistent throw. Needs to stick, needs to stick. Just needs to pop it over. That's all he needs to do. Chance to run it down. Yes. And Switzerland break all their risks paying off. Turn created again. This was what the GB coach was chatting about at half, is just turning up the energy, going out and getting those discs. And the pressure they're putting on now, phenomenal. That looks down. Bill, what do you think? Yes, it really looked like it skipped, and it was just sliding along the ground the whole time. The wind is coming from his left, so it was into the wind, so it might have popped up at the end. And there goes my bag, which I will have to go and get shortly. Gonna be a little bit of discussion. Bill, can I ask you for a favor? done that probably close to 100 times. And we're back. And GB, make it 8. That's 2 breaks. They need 1 more in order to make this game work in their favor. Wonder how many of you watch Top Gear out there? The UK edition, of course. Really enjoyed the episode where Jeremy, May, and Hammond drive from Switzerland to Blackpool on 1 tanker of fuel. At least they try to. Quite liked it. Perhaps something that I'd like to try someday when I get the time. All my travels for the last, well, how many years now? All of my travels for the last 10 years, well, actually since 2006, have been for Ultimate. I kid you not. Everything has been for Ultimate. That's a very good pull. And I typically travel to an international tournament 3 times a year, including U.S. Nationals, because it is international for me. There's a period 3-4 years ago, 4 or 5 actually now, maybe now, where from the beginning of April or last weekend of March to the end of October or middle of October, I played a tournament every weekend, mixed or open. Oh, and that's a fantastic D. Getting up and high. It was necessary. And GB, huge energy in the second half. The most interesting for observers around here is that there's a number 17 wandering on the sideline. If you are in the know, and especially in the know about yesterday's events, then number 17 being there is interesting. Oh, confidence. And more that they'll play, they'll realize that that over the top just needs to be high enough, but it's always there. And this zone looking tired now, the front of it at least. I've always found I get so much less tired being the driving force in the offense and just pumping back and forth and running. There's something you get into a mode, and it's just very nice. And so when I play my defense in the cup, I try to be in that mode of why am I missing all these passes? Why aren't they throwing to me? I must not be possessioned correctly. Oh, and a hand block. Oh. Always try to create separation between your throw and the mark. Now GB coming with his own. I'll be very honest. I find it very interesting, the bottom of your screen, that he has a hat on. It doesn't matter who it is, but he's using his hands to block the sun. I don't know if anyone else is noticing that. But GB have been playing well. They've been really going out and getting it. They are now. They need a break, but they are back on, I think, either one breakdown or even Stevens. This is a good-looking zone. So far, Switzerland not willing to go over the top, and the thing is that the mids further down the field are in a position, the hammer stops in a position to stop that. Switzerland will only be able to move it to side. It's going to be more difficult to go over the top for them, whereas on the Swiss zone, it was easy to go over the top and forward. Small adjustment required, but not an issue. And now into the man. Close. Encouragement from the sideline to get up, get back. Mark, mark, mark. The end zone, a little bit messy. Coming back with 3 handlers, high stall. Pops up, not in. Now it's in. And Switzerland 9-8 are still the driving force in this game. Great Britain, no, go be solid. And their defense is starting to get the turns. I might have to take a small break quite soon. Hi, how are you doing? Okay, so if, pardon me? Yeah, it's a big truck. Okay, so you see this arena that's right there? So if you, which side are you standing on?
This could be fun.
Of the poutine. Okay, I see you walking slightly towards the. Okay, so I'm in that arena area, standing on the top of a little tower, and wearing a safari hat. Are you in a car? Yeah, you're in a car, right? Okay, so you'll see a tower at one side of the field, the other side of the stands.
So there is one left.
Like a platform. Yeah, I've got it off now. Okay, all right. So that's me. If the people at the front, you can just walk in. You can tell them that you're here for me if they try to stop you, and then I will sign the paper and give it back to you. Did you bring the printout though? The letter? No, the letter. Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Then I will sign and give it back to you. Okay, you're welcome. Sorry, I don't know if you picked up on that conversation. Just waiting for someone. I have some paperwork to sign. William, number 17, I can't talk about it. I saw a few things happen. I'm not sure of all the details, but I think it was number 17. You'll have to ask your team as to what actually happened. We did chat with the captains, and I'm only saying what I saw, but I'm not going to add more details to that this time because it's probably a more private situation. I must say, though, that him being back on the sideline is a good sign, considering where things are at. And, yeah, that's basically it. So after the timeout, Switzerland going to be pulling. Score 9-8. It's exciting. It's a close game. This pull lands out. Police doing a quick tour of the premises. Justin Norden walking out. Security making sure that everything's kind of a little bit kosher. It's good to have the presence. It's a straight up wall zone, but it's interesting because it's not a typical chase. It's just there to stop the side-to-side movement. And what's happened is that it's pulled a handler back, and now there's a mismatch at the front, but they're taxiing one player, and now it's, man, yippee-ki-yay, as they would say. Chase down. GB needs to dictate the pace. They're still playing as if it's against the zone. Oh, and dropped. And one player streaking deep. I would have taken the deep shot. But they're being safer, these kids. All being so safe. That's what I spoke earlier. It's this weird transition year. Not all of them have the chemistry that you would from a club level team, and I think in many ways the club teams are much stronger. And this is a good indication of the U19 continuation, and also for countries that hold national training camps for world selections, as opposed to Canada and the US, which do form a committee, but it tends to be dominated by one team in particular. So 9-all, and I'll be right back.
No, it's fine. Yeah. Let's go, boys. Sideline. Here we go, GB! Yeah, pull! Hey, let's go, boys! Chase it! Boys, get angry!
Repull. Thanks for Bill for moving the camera. This is a fun thing. I can always rely upon friends to pitch in when I'm running around. Had to sign some paperwork. Had to have a quick chat separately with Ian as well. A lot of fun stuff going on here on, what is that, day 4, day 5? Full day of competition, day 4. We'll have 3 games tomorrow. Next gen will have 2. And coming up with the last game of the day will be the GB women versus the Austrian women. And I wish I could have brought you another women's game today. Unfortunately, I couldn't. And that one, going out the back, it's going to be brick. Generally good times. Calls for now's the time, boys. Now's the time from GB, and it is, now is the time. If GB gets this break, they will be in a driving position. Zone. As the wind picks up, it is the time. There's a travel call. GB's hammer stops in position. Cheese call, don't know what that means, might be a nickname. Small flip. Ooh, one feels that if that defender had just taken a few more steps in. Oh, good piece, and he gets it. And GB deciding to send it deep. And that is the time. And the sideline erupts as GB take the lead. 10-9, they've been down all game. And are we going to have an exciting finish like we've had for the previous 2 games? Quite possible. If I had a magic 8-ball, if I shook it, what would it say, Bill Wong? He's saying GB. I would say possibilities are limitless. Of course, those amongst you that are numbers folks would actually say, like Alex Bush would tell me, no, there are only 2 possibilities. And I'd say those are limitless. Limitless when you consider what could happen between now and then. And then Alex Bush would say, no, there are a finite number of molecules involved. And I would say, Alex, really? I agree. 17:05 here. Probably another 30 minutes, maybe more, until we start our last game of the day. That will be our 5th streamed game. Folks, it's been a wonderful day hanging out with you. Pull goes up.
Here we go, boys! Let's go! Left shoulder, left shoulder, left shoulder.
It's the zone that's created the opportunities. Oh, and this one should be caught easily. Okay, good. Trap called. There's a lane on this side. Need to take advantage of this lane. That's the lane. It's going to break everything open. But now there's coverage there. They've shifted, they've recognized it. Now going to man. Oh, wow. But hurt at the same time.
That's what we need, boys! Yes, Omar!
Going to take the injury. How awesome was that, Bill? I wishes he was down there. I think we had a fantastic vantage point for that. Oh, faking deep. There's no clearance. And then deep. Oh, he's saying in and out. And it's a turnover. So you'll have to check, again, folks that are interested. We always try to highlight interesting behavior on this stream. We kind of consider questionable. Oh, good putt. Oh, and Sam was underneath it, and he gets a D. Huge D at an important time. Nick, I'm glad you're enjoying these events and the random conversations. I don't know if you've ever been to an Ultimate tournament with me or just watched a game. My conversations are entirely almost like this. I'm not commentating the game, but discussions about the zone, discussions about politics and ultimate development, where the next worlds will be, trading gossip. There's a lot that goes on in ultimate, and most people just concentrate what's going on in the field. There's so much going on off that. So much talking about the next tournament, the parties, who does what, or did you find out that? Interesting things, nothing critical or intrusive into people's lives, but generally around ultimate. As I said, it's a lifestyle. And you can see that with, Ulti-World, you can and timeout, or not timeout called, but you can also see that with Sky. When you start having folks like Ulti TV, and now the close side player who just went by the disc, he started running well in advance. He was preparing for the continuation, so great heads up play by him. Unfortunately, it didn't come through, didn't work out. And GB go back on defense, and now they have to push against Switzerland again, but Switzerland having to work it all the way back. And they need to work it all the way back. It's getting quite warm now. Switzerland continuing to play well, despite all issues that they're having. And they're going to man, but there's still a poach deep. Pulling Sam. Where's the poach player? There's a free man somewhere on the field. And Switzerland make quick work, going up to 10-10, tying up the game. Now the pressure back on GB offense. So hope everyone's having a good day. Thanks to those of you that have made it down or planning to come down. Finals should be a good one. Interesting news earlier today. I think we've had some good streams. We've had a power pool mixed game. That was USA versus Canada. USA took that one 17-16. And a lot of back and forth on Universe Point. And Canada will need to win a few more games. I think one more game is what they need to win in their power pool to make it through to the quarters. Colombia Open eliminated earlier today in surprisingly, some inconsistent play in the past few days and some remarkably good play by a few other teams to take advantage of that. And Brick called for. So Colombia being knocked out. And GB lost 13-15 to Austria. Canada 17-1 versus Mexico in the open division. United States 17-4 versus Switzerland. Australia losing 13-15 to Germany. And Japan, the first game of the day on our stream, 17-6 versus France. France did not play as well as they could have, and they chat afterwards indicated such. Good break. What a cute play, a cute pass, but well taken and strongly taken. And GB put the pressure squarely back on Switzerland. It's a fun part of Ultimate, the pressure being put back and forth in close games when teams are trading points. You don't have willy-nilly throws because every pass is important, every point precious, especially at this point in the tournament Soft cap announced now. Game will be to 13. Thank you to our volunteer. So game to 13. This is where all your mistakes come back to haunt you. If only we'd won that game. If only we'd done that. These are lessons that should be taken and moved on, and that's what this tournament is, an under-23 tournament. It's a lesson and a learning point for many of these teams. This is by far not the end of ultimate careers. Well, it might be for a few players, depending on how they've composed themselves. And also whether or not they feel like they can compete. Because in North America, the pool is quite large for players to be selected from, and certainly the opportunities numerous. Not necessarily the same case in other countries. You might send one team, but you might only have 1 or 2 high-level teams that will head to Worlds. In women's division, Canada 17-1 versus Austria. Japan 17-4 over New Zealand earlier today. Germany 11-14 versus Colombia. We're going to start getting some more scores as well. And mixed, GB losing out, just being squeezed on Universe, 14-15 by Austria. Germany mixed winning 14-11 versus Colombia. Is this the second timeout? And GB going to be pulling home called for. Hole floating to the end of the end zone. Zone coming down. Pressure situation. Batch, if you're watching, what is the result and outcome of this game? This might be a crossover, or it might be the last of pool. I'm not sure. And travel called. Three handlers now at the back. Over the top should work well as a reset. Oh, but goes up line. They're moving it up line and now melting. Need to go vertical. Need to go vertical. So much space on the break side. Oh, and foul called, saying you're riding my shoulder. Don't understand bottle kicking.
Let's go,
Seems like a really dangerous way to show off your frustrations. Don't necessarily know where that bottle's going to go. It is a projectile as well. I think good move through. I think primary issue also with bottle kicking is that the aerodynamics of bottles partially filled with water are not well known. And the trajectory is not always intentional. Again, that low bounce into the wind, really using that breeze that's there now. Oh, double step move, fakes out his own player. And now the camera starts moving towards the right, indicating a change in direction of play. 4 handlers. Going right to man immediately. Looking to go deep. No, not happening. Hammer, low. Frustrated by himself, thinks he's issues, strikers. Disc not moving, zone going to be set up. Calling for a clearing of the sideline for 3 meters. Planning on to use that, most likely, or a decoy. No, he's planning on using it. And foul call. Four handlers again, but there's some sort of call. But no upfield option on this side. It's gonna have to go back. It's gonna flow. No, good way to cut it off. Flow back to the other side, looking for a midfield option. Still nothing there. There's the over the top. Oh, that was close. Really close for GB. Good speed, and they rush the field. And GB now 1 point away. Switzerland need 3 in a row to win the game. GB needs 1, and they're going to have at least 2 offensive chances to do it. We're just going to shake the tower up here to freak Bill out a little bit. And mission accomplished. And now Bill knows what it was like being up here all of yesterday. It is hot today, yes. It was cooler earlier. Our weather check without any of the fancy graphics that we presented earlier, as in me holding my phone. It is 23 and clear, 17 kilometers an hour wind, and from the north, 43% humidity. Dew point is 10 Celsius, 16 kilometer visibility, which is reasonable. It's not the most clear of days. Temperature steady and pressure is falling. Now that pressure falling indicates some cloudy weather coming soon. And Saturday is when we expect it. And we expect scattered light rain late in the day at this time. Tomorrow, it's going to be similar to today. But a clear day. We're way off in the distance. Clouds. And coming back down to our play after a high pull. Camera conveniently pointing exactly where it was going to come down. Oh, and just a jump into the back, and the player came down awkwardly. Austrian women and British women coming up next. Haven't heard much from the DJ that's been at the beer tent in the south. It's going to be a short medical stoppage. Appear to be an issue with ankles or knee. Might also be a cramp. Both of these teams have been running hard all day. Most of these players know each other as well. Playing together quite often. Score update coming in from the TC versus Japan women's game from Rahil. 5-3 Team Canada women lead. Rahil's actually sitting indoors. I owe him some cash because he got me some lunch. I have to go take care of that soon. Looking to huck it, no options. GB forcing movement, but Switzerland not having much upfield cycling. Taking off rather slowly. Straight up, looking to huck it, and it's floating, there's angle. Oh, and a good D. And Sam Bowen down. Getting up slowly, and he's okay. And GB now on game point. And I think this game, the outcome is who moves onwards. So close game, 12-10 the score. Go back and check on Twitter. Thank you again. It's a crossover from Bobo. That's what he's saying. Winner to play the USA in quarters. As well as Danielle. Seeded 7th or 8th. Loser can't get any higher than 9th. And this could be it. No, it's going to be a little bit short. Jumps in, actually. And GB head off into quarters with a great win, 13-10 over Switzerland. Switzerland came out fantastically. They came out fantastically. But it's unfortunate. They had lots of opportunities. They got up early. Great Britain turned it around in the second half. I think that's the key to the game. They came out harder. They were being driven during that halftime speech. Swiss players not satisfied with that result, and who would be? Let's be honest, you can't be satisfied with a loss, especially when they were up. Shaking hands, but very dejected. They played a good game. It's that GB's pressure in the second half. They wilted under it, and they just couldn't. They couldn't handle it.
On the other pitch,
I believe the score at half was 8-6 for Switzerland. So GB scored 7-2 in the second half. And that should indicate just how much pressure. GB finished with, was it 3 breaks in a row or something like that? 2 or 3 breaks in a row. Now the women take the field. That'll be happening soon. I'm just going to head downstairs, again, check in on a few things. Bill will stay up here and set up camp. No, he's heading off as well. So I'll be here by my lonesome, but thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next broadcast featuring Great Britain women and Austrian women.